We are seeing more and more building on the XRP ledger. We're going to go over that today, as well as what happened again to Elizabeth Warren. All those articles, and then we're going to bring in producer Emi on the NFTs. You're not going to want to miss the Doodles and Steve Aoki. All today on OG Crypto and NFTs. Welcome everyone. My name is Troy, and Monday through Friday we go over the latest news in cryptocurrencies, non-fungible token NFTs, as well as the blockchain. Now, before we jump into it all, do me a favor, smash that subscribe button, boom, and then come over here. So you want to help the channel out. You want to keep growing this. You wanted the best 5 to 10 minutes out there. Yes, hit that like button. Get this algorithm and my videos rolling here, because I'm going to go over what is really happening out in the crypto world. I'm not going to give you the fluff. I'm going to give you the buff. All right, let's jump right into it. This is from Riz.Gary Gensler resign. Great name. And this was retweeted by the digital asset investor. And we're going to go over this. Is about 58 seconds. It's going to be under a minute. This is March 31st. Oh, this is at the Frankfurt School of Finance and Management. We're going to listen to Anthony from Ripple.
So what are we learning? So we've got 2 announced projects, and then we've got 5 under NDA. Royal Monetary Authority of Bhutan is a real CBDC. So there's a central bank, and they've issued a currency, and that's very much at decent stages at the moment. And Palau is actually a US dollar stablecoin. So Palau has its own government, but no central bank. So they use the US dollar. So we're issuing on the public blockchain, on the public XRP ledger, a USD stablecoin for this country to use. That's actually quite interesting for innovation, because there's other things can be done with that.
Palau is issuing a dollar stablecoin on the XRP ledger. You just heard it out of Anthony Welfare's mouth, yet I hear people trying to argue that it's not. You just heard it out of his mouth.
So that again is Riz, and in his YouTube video, he's talking again about Anthony Welfare of Ripple. And if you continue to listen to this, and I know he cuts it off short, they talk about having 5 NDAs. That is agreements that they can't announce yet. So they have 2 that are already in place, 5 that have not been announced. Now we know Montenegro has actually announced it, so maybe there's 4 other ones, or maybe a new 5. I think we're going to see other countries are going to come out somewhere in the South Pacific region, in the Asian region right there. I think several of them are already working with Ripple. We've actually seen several different other YouTubers, 24-hour crypto. He's gone over all the spikes on the XRPL on these Sundays, and he thinks that that's where they're doing mass transactions to prove that a CBDC or to these banks that they can do mass transactions on an hourly, minute, or daily basis, and that the system will not go down or be overloaded. So we're really excited to see this. We're actually see the adoption. It's kind of funny because you have what I figure the XRP army, which is probably the strongest army, but it's also the most hated army. So when you see videos like this, it would go parabolic if somebody said this about Ethereum or Solana, but you just don't see the VCs that are involved here that you see in those other companies, right? Or other cryptocurrencies. And those VCs do the pump and dumps on you. Here, you don't see that with Ripple, and you don't see that with XRP. You just see a growing ecosystem, as well as Ripple then adding into their flavor here of having these side chains, or I call them mirrors, if I want to call them, of these CBDs that are coming from countries. Now, I do like what they're saying here. They're saying that there's going to be a USD, United States dollar, stable coin, but it's going to be run for a country. I don't know if they're going to open that up, but I think it's going to be specific for a country, but it will be on the XRP ledger, the public net, so all of us can see what's going on. Really cool things that are happening here with Ripple. Really like them. Now let's shift gears. Let's go to one of the worst people out there. It's Senator Elizabeth Warren. So the joke is on her. She's out there, backing her boy Gary Gensler up, and you're seeing just a couple of Democrats behind her. But she thought she could get support for a huge anti-crypto legislation, a bill. And I just, once again, you see that nobody really wants to support her. It's going to be poison in the 2024 elections. So here it says, Senator Warren Marshall delay reintroducing crypto bill due to lack of sponsors. Nobody wants to sponsor it. Because whoever's sponsoring this, it'll be used against them somewhere in the future when it comes to re-election. I don't even believe, why is this woman even in her position she's in? Okay, she doesn't have any, she's not in touch with anybody. No one that's older is in touch with her. Younger people who are into crypto aren't in touch with her. I just think that she just needs to go away. She needs to accept the future. I can tell you now, she was right in the middle of the banking crisis back in the day in 2009, 2010. She was in the middle of it. She boasts about having legislation on it. And then 10 years later, we have another banking crisis, right? So it's the same crap with her. And just like with anything, everyone who causes the problem always seems to think they have a solution. Hashtag Janet Yellen, hashtag the Fed and all their 400 PhDs that they have, or do they even have any? Who knows at this point? All right, let's jump to the next one. Something I discussed about a month and a half ago with Mt. Gox. It's 150,000 or so Bitcoin with Mt. Gox. They're going to be releasing them sometime this year. But look at it. The U.S. government holds, according to the data here from Glassnode, $6 billion worth of Bitcoin. Guys, there's, if you kind of add it all up, there's about 8% of the total supply, not the total circulating supply, but total supply of the 21 million that are held by people who want to get rid of it, right? Meaning that they're by governments or by entities. There's actually probably more than 8%. There's only about, 10, 15% that's on exchanges right now. A lot of longtime holders had them in cold storage wallets or in wallets, right? With that being said, it doesn't take much to manipulate this asset. It's the most, in my opinion, the most manipulated speculative asset of all time. And if anyone wants to go and destroy it, and that has a fairly large amount, they can absolutely do it. We don't even know what China has and other countries have. They won't even report how much Bitcoin they have. But bottom line is, it's you're playing with fire with Bitcoin. And unfortunately, there's not very many coins out there that are decoupled from Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin dumps, the whole market just follows it down. We need to have that decoupling. We don't have it because there's no regulation, right? There's no regulation of Bitcoin, and there's certainly no regulation on these exchanges. Anytime someone go park, 100,000 Bitcoin and the market panics. If you had real exchanges that were regulated, okay, then we would know what the real intention that's going on here, and the market would absolutely be less volatile. But we don't have it, and it's because the modern day cop on the beat, Gary Gensler, who's just been beaten down the last few weeks, will not give direction on Bitcoin and Ethereum because like I said before, he's a puppet, and other people are pulling their strings, and I think they have large amounts, or they could be the disguised whales of Ethereum. They have large amounts of this, and at the right time, they're going to dump it. And I still say that sometime this year, we're going to have a big Bitcoin dump party. Boom. All right, let's jump to the next one. MasterCard launches crypto credential services for cross-border transfers. It says the set of verification standards uses technology from CipherTrace, the well-known blockchain's analytics platform MasterCard agreed to acquire in 2021. It's kind of funny because back then, around there, it's CipherTrace also said that Ripple or XRP will be used all throughout Japan. So I wonder if there's some kind of connection here. The idea behind CipherTrace is that if you're starting to move large amounts of money, typically over $1,000, they want to identify the sender and receiver. So they don't want to make it, they want to KYC both sides of it. So this is what's happening. So if there's ever been an issue with the transaction, you know where it went and who it came from. All right, so let's jump into the fluff. We're going into the NFT section here. Our producer, Emi, is jumping on. How you doing, Emi?
I'm good, how are you?
I am doing fantastic. Looks like some big names here. Why don't you just roll right into it?
Okay, so I believe we did report on the initial announcement of this project. Adidas and Pharrell released digital clothing for Doodles NFT holders. Doodles have not been doing well. If you guys want to see their exact numbers, you can go ahead and head on TikTok or YouTube Shorts later today to see our blue chip roundup. They're sliding off the blue chip map. It's very bad. So hopefully this collaboration, Adidas and Pharrell, they specifically have a collab together called Human Race. It's Pharrell's brainchild thing. I've seen the shoes and stuff before. So it looks like they've made a bunch of different digital wearables for Doodles. I don't know if this is enough to save them, to be really honest with you. I think they'd have to do something with a really, really, really big push, possibly some digital items to actually get back up there. But nonetheless, I do think Pharrell is very interesting, and he is getting so deeply involved in a lot of different companies in their like fashion direction and art direction and ideas and stuff like that. So maybe Pharrell can save him, but I really don't think he can.
Yeah. So Doodles, just like with anything, it was a 2021 launch project, had a lot of fanfare. This is when all those little, I call them quote unquote kid NFT influencers were out there, and they made it fashionable to flip these NFTs, right? So for 2021, a lot of them made quite a lot of money. Then 2022 came, and just like a lot of these, hedge funds or these farms that were out there, big companies like Celsius and Voyager, they have never gone through a negative or a downtrend, and once they did, they all collapsed. Well, we just saw that slow drain now from these big NFT blue chips. They're just draining out, and so a lot of them, I think, here are just kind of jumping in to keep relevant, to keep them out there. But we're going to see in the future here, I think they're going to start to really, it's really going to hit where if they don't have that utility, the community will not back them, and they'll just a little run on selling them and they're gone.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if this time next year we're like, Doodles, I remember that.
Right.
So, we'll see.
Right. And right now, what do you see? Meme coins, right? That are pumping.
Coins.
But those are all, again, same exact thing. I know that, I listen to a lot of XRP, Ripple influencers out there.
You do?
Yes.
Oh my God, you're into
And
it?
so what's really hot right now in that world, because they just upgraded their system where they have now NFTs. XLS 20 was approved about 6 months ago. So now they've been minting NFTs and having all these NFT projects, and it's really funny to listen to some of them. Like, oh, it's great. I'm producing babies and I'm breeding. I go, well, this has all been done 2 years earlier. Why do you think that yours is going to work when all this is done on the Ethereum network? Now, I completely understand. To me, Ethereum is trash. I'll say it as many times. It's trash in the respect that it cannot have a consistently low transaction fee, or what they call gas fee.
Yeah.
Okay. It's literally it's like going to a grocery store and I buy a stick of gum or I buy $1,000 worth of groceries. I'm paying $15 just for the transaction. Okay. So all they did was they took out everyone that has a project that they're trying to make money on.
I have a question.
Yes.
When you buy tickets,
Yes.
okay, let's say Ticketmaster, whatever.
Yes.
Do you get upset at those service fees too?
I do get upset at those service fees, but I'll say this much: the musicians or the comedians or whatever the entertainment I'm looking at, if they put it on there and that's the only marketplace I can go to, that's one thing. But if you go, Ethereum was the first, but if you really look at it, you have another 10 to 15 blockchains today. So if I was on Tezos, I can go charge 1 Tezos, which is less than $1.
It's like nothing.
I don't have it up right now, but you understand that just recently, an investor decided he wanted to move $50 million, and instead of using Ethereum, he simply did it on the XRPL in 3 seconds
for change.
For 30 cents.
Yeah.
Right? 30 cents. We went over yesterday Ripple's, market reports, and their average transaction is under a cent. Wow. So to mint, it's under a penny, guys. When you start, it's under one XRP, which is under a penny. Yeah. So you're really looking at this. And let's don't use that. There's Hedera, there's Polygon, there's ADA, there's all these. Okay, let's get off this blockchain. There doesn't make any sense anymore. So if I bought a wearable for $30, I'm paying 50%. Now, I want to go over this as well with you, because it's a bigger issue with me, is that not only are you paying a gas fee to use their coins, but you're paying a marketplace fee, and then you're paying a creator fee. Okay, so I need you to start thinking about this. So I'm paying up to as much as 30 to 40% of my transaction, if not. And again, I have a lot of small artists I like to follow, and I already told them all I refuse to buy it on Ethereum. Done. That's it. Put it on Tezos. When we bought that one project, it was on Tezos. Cost us 9 Tezos.
Yeah, it was very, very low.
It was low. Tezos 30 cents, 25 cents.
Putin's Tears was fun.
Putin's Tears, right? So you have all this, but it doesn't make sense to have a $15 transaction when you're buying a $5 NFT.
Item.
Right. It doesn't make any sense. So that's where the Doodles are hurting. They're on the wrong blockchain.
Yeah. Okay, so this one basically just says that all the NFT.
And this is exactly
this is what we just covered.
This is what we just covered, right? This is because the majority of NFT collections are on Ethereum, and who the hell wants to pay $15? When now a lot, if you were to go up and I'd throw up a couple of names, you're like, okay, the entry level is $18. But there's a $15 gas fee, a 2.5% OpenSea fee, and a 2.5% creator fee. I'm literally paying double for the same what I'm getting.
This is literally how I feel anytime I think about ordering food. The fees are just so ridiculous. I always just close it and go get it myself.
But that's what
it's the same thing. It's just so ridiculous.
Right. So it's convenience, right? And then what happens is they charge, what's really bad is they're charging whoever the restaurant, they're charging them 20-30%.
I know.
So so after a while you're saying, come on, let's not be lazy about shit. I mean, anyone can go out and go through a drive-through. Right? Or
run in and grab food. It's simple.
Right.
Okay, so this last piece of news, can you read the headline for them, please?
Yuga Labs and Puma collaborate to launch a limited edition NFT collection. I mean, Yuga Labs is probably the most brilliant.
They're killing it. Their marketing department and their branding department is just chef's kiss. They're amazing.
Exactly.
So I'm kind of surprised they decided to go with Puma for this. I'm hoping that this is some sort of character that they're going to be debuting soon, because Puma's not really like a cool company like it used to be, but it's still a large conglomerate, you know what I mean? So essentially this is going to be a phygital collection where if you're able to, because you have to check to see if you're eligible to even do this, you would get the NFT, and then you would also get a physical pair of shoes. This is called the Grailed Puma Slipstream NFT collection. This is interesting. I like that it's at least a phygital item, obviously because it's connected to Yuga Labs. It has a big potential collector's item edition worth who knows how much money in the future. They didn't talk very much about price, but if you're interested.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I definitely would consider this. If I'm on that whole Yuga Labs, is going to be the premier community. Obviously, has the Bored Apes, has the Meebits, has all those things. Has 3 or 4 that they collaborate with. They have their own metaverse, right? That they did the other side, and so they have so much going on. It's just again what we talked about, Ethereum. I don't know if you know this, but when the other side was launched, all these, I think about almost 100,000 pieces of land, So they had given X amount to Bored Ape and Mutant Ape holders. And so we already had pre-allocated amounts. And then they let the rest go, right? So everyone else could go. Well, what happened was when it did, gas fees spiked and some people paid tens of thousands of dollars. They had so much money, they had so much Ethereum in their wallet when they try to purchase, and they're rushing to purchase. I mean, that was a big, I mean, people are paying $20,000 in gas fees.
That's absolutely fucking bananas. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's just insane.
No, it is. That's why the blockchain will not survive. There's too much out there that, especially when companies look at transaction fees, this is just the general public they're making. They're just dumping over the general public.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
When you're looking at other, real companies, real use case, this Ethereum's not the way to go. And I know Ethereum Classic went to Ethereum, and Ethereum 2.0 didn't change the gas fees, and they're years away from Ethereum 3.0. So there's so many other blockchains that have caught up and are surpassing them now that are going to start taking a lot of this. And the first crack is we're looking at it right now in the NFT world. And unfortunately, with Yuga Labs, as strong as the Bored Ape and Mutant Apes are, they're plummeting just as with everything else.
They've fallen quite a bit.
Right.
Oh my God, quite a bit.
Right.
Yeah.
And if there's any prediction that's happening this year that we're looking at, the market might just fall out this year. And with NFTs, those are probably going to be taking a hit just as much as everyone else.
Oh, or more. Yeah.
I'll tell you though, with Yuga Labs, if they put out there's another 100,000 pieces they talked about in that metaverse. If they go back and now put that out right now, that they're going to do it in the next 30 to 60 days, we're going to see the Bored Apes and the mutants come right back up because they're getting free pieces of land. So literally they're going to be the floor for a long time was 1.5 to 2 ETH. So basically they're handing you in today's dollars about 4,000 free dollars. Here you go. If you sold it right away. Right. So they were handing it to you. They also handed you a ton of ape coin, which ended up being $5,000 to $10,000 for free.
That's so wild. I think that just really shows that if you don't have some sort of utility or a means to, that's a lot more than just flipping. Like what they're giving you is a lot more than just a flip. So if you don't have some sort of something substantial in your offering, it's just gonna plummet. It
is. And then you have to keep up the community, and you have to keep up what's going on. And if you're building, you have to have milestones in which people can see that the building, that their NFT is something. Right. Yeah. Right. Even if updates aren't good enough, you got to be able to now put my character on land, and he's got to be able to move around. Then I've got to be able to, then as you're upgrading that land, the plot, whatever, I've got to be able to build on that. Right. So things are going to continue to roll with everything. It can't just go dormant. Hey guys, let's go once a year to the NFT in New York, NYC, and let's go party. Well, they're not buying the parties anymore because the secondary sales aren't enough to even keep the founders, interested. Unfortunately. So hopefully that this isn't going to help the Bored Apes or or mutants at all. This is helping Yuga, but again, I just think that some of these things that they're putting out on this is just to keep them relevant more than it is to help their communities that are below them, like CryptoPunks, me bits, things like that.
I think this also draws in a different type of collector.
Yeah.
I mean? I think
these are one of one. We haven't even seen how much they're. This could be $5,000-$10,000. I mean, you're getting the NFT and the pair of shoes.
I know, and I think sneakerheads. You know what I mean? I think this will get some other type of buyers to possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've talked quite a bit on this episode. Thank you all for joining us today. What do you have to say to them, Troy?
I will tell you that you guys have a fantastic weekend. If you like our video, hit that like button right down there, or wherever it's at, ding dong. Otherwise, you guys have a fantastic weekend, and we will see you on Monday.
Bye.